Psalm 46. God is for us a refuge and a strength, a helper close at hand in time of distress. So we shall not fear, though the earth should rock, though the mountains fall into the depths of the sea. Even though its waters rage and foam, even though the mountains be shaken by its waves, the Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our stronghold. May the mountains bring forth peace for the people, and the hills justice. May he defend the poor of the people and save the children of the needy and crush the oppressors. Amen. Hi everybody, wake up with us now. Face the day. Life is beautiful. The beauty of God's plan with Rita. I want to live my life with you. What is life? Yes, ask yourself those questions as we meditate and think about the affairs of the nation, place ourselves in positions of activism, of reflection on the events of the day. Today is Wednesday, it's the 29th of December, 2 days before we say goodbye to the year 2021. Yeah, we think about what was past, but only to encourage us towards what is to come. I'm Ronnie Thwaites. I've been doing this kind of thing for a long time. Later on, the veteran politician, trade unionist, public servant, the Honorable Pearnel Charles joins me. Yes, we have a program for you. We welcome your input. You can text us at 876-551-5782, and our studio line is 876-676-4996. A new bridge between Jamaica all over the world. Yeah, and we do this at this early hour because we recognize the difference in time zones and where Jamaicans are, so we want them to catch the vibe wherever they are. You can rebroadcast us anytime. It's a bridge 99.13579, and it's www.thebridge99fm.com wherever you are in the world. Please join us. Please stay with us. It's an interesting mix and shall I call it a melange, a lovely French word, on this station. The music, the sounds, the words, that which is contemporary, that which is historical, all coming together. We need a part, we need a piece of each. Here's the weather for you in Jamaica. You can eat your heart out if you're in colder climes. The Meteorological Service of Jamaica's forecast for today. This morning we can expect partly cloudy conditions across northeastern parishes. Otherwise it will be mainly sunny. Meanwhile, after this there'll be isolated showers across western parishes and hilly areas. Otherwise it will be partly cloudy. That's been a correct forecast for the last day or two, and we're so pleased with that, because what it does is to ensure that we're having farmers' rain. I really believe that the road to prosperity in this country is land reform and scientific modern agriculture, so we can feed ourselves, so we can feed you in the diaspora as you long for the things that grow only here and which are so expensive and so hard to find where you are, and which you could encourage so many others from different cultures to want too. This is the way, not some of these wasting resources that are so popular and appear so easy. Thanks for being with us, okay? Yeah, we have some big issues to talk about today on the program. Some things that are impinging on us from abroad, but tell a story that we need to learn. We had this man, can I call him a gentleman? His name is Donald Trump Jr., and he's reported as saying yesterday that turning the other cheek, yes, a biblical principle, the only way that you're going to avoid recrimination and reprisal in your whole life, every aspect of it. He says, yeah, turning the other cheek has gotten us nowhere. What a pagan, yeah? What a incipient terrorist. And he is supposed to be following the footsteps of his father. Apparently has the same ethic. Yeah, and unfortunately, that is not confined to those people, although their words and their persona carry the headlines. Yeah, what what that spirit, unfortunately, is widespread, and even more so among many younger people, not restricted to them at all. No, if you don't turn the other cheek, no matter with anything like being a parent or getting married or anything like that, don't bother try to have civil relationships and loving interaction with other people. Yeah, you don't have to be a churchgoer, though it's better if you are, if to adhere to these principles. But if you grow up your children, if you have as the ethic of your society that you're going to lick back every time you get lick, even when you suspect that you get lick, or you're going to, that's going to be your reaction. Well, we're going to end up blind and toothless and at war with each other. Maybe that's the story of mankind. What a backwardness coming from this man who presumes to tell us how we should live. I'm so sorry. Yeah? Is this a characteristic of modern society? We have another group in Jamaica, a political group. They call themselves G2K, and they want more women and young people in the cabinet and in the parliament. Okay, sure. But you shouldn't be in parliament or cabinet because you're young or because you're old or because you're a man or because you're a woman. You should be there because you're competent. Yeah? And therefore, if there are, how much people in the cabinet, 15 or 18? Yeah? If you have 18 most competent women, let it be all women. If you have 15 most competent men, then let it be those. We don't want you there because of your gender or because of your age. We want it there because of your state of mind and because of, let me use this phrase, your generosity of spirit. That you're there not to thief, not to be selfish, not to be oppressive, but rather to serve, especially those who are weakest and most in need, and put you there, So how about that? So let's get this thing straight. And what I've just said is in no way contrary to notions of gender equality, which we support. It's no way denying that there has been a history of patriarchy, which is precisely that men have been put in places and positions on account of their masculinity and not on account of their competence at all. And you have to break that. Yes? But to reverse it and say that I should be there because I am young or because I am a woman or because I am old, yes, is not to change anything. It is merely to flip the script. Who wants to do that? Come now. Hey, on this station we talk it straight, We don't skid up and go with any fads and popularity. So think again, no? Yeah, so there we are. And then, oh dear, in the Gleaner, over the last couple of days, continuing this morning, there is a difference of opinion, let me put it no higher than that, between two persons who shouldn't. One is the former Prime Minister, Bruce Golding, a strong contributor to the bridge, and the retired politician, Derek Smith. And the issue is whether Mr. Smith was dismissed or reassigned, and whether he was told some years ago that he was being moved from a particular ministry to another ministry, and whether some amount of, what is the word we use? Some amount of dissing took place. Yeah? And historical records need to be set straight, it is true, but don't carry any feelings. Yeah? And come we done that one now. And we thank both gentlemen for the service they gave. And it's not that we are bearing the details, but we are simply saying, okay, pass that now. And what kind of example are you giving with this business of who did what and who said what when, right? History must emancipate. History must not desecrate. Can I say that again? History must emancipate. History must not desecrate. 20 minutes after 5 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and Beanie Man has denied media reports out of Ghana that he tested positive for COVID-19 when he arrived in the West African Republic. I didn't know he went. Okay. So he said, quote, "I have no COVID, never caught COVID before, tested negative for COVID, been traveling for the past 6 months COVID-free, fully vaccinated," Beanie Man tweeted. Okay, take your word, sir. And love the fact. Listen here, Beanie Man have plenty followers, you know. Beanie Man says, fully vaccinated. So what you hitch for out here now? You say I love Beanie, right? So follow him now. You know if you only follow him lyrics, yeah. You follow what the man is the progressive elements of his lifestyle. Fully vaccinated. The 40-year-old went on to share a negative PCR test from a lab located in Accra, the capital of Ghana, and a letter stating that the Ghana Health Service was informing him of the negative test result. Yeah, of course. So that's clear. No bother with any second guess or any postscript to that one. All right? And it is for our cultural leaders to set an example. Yes? Even Donald Trump, yeah, he cast doubt on everything. He cussed Dr. Fauci, yeah, but he knows after him done with all his putrid politics, yeah, that him go get him vaccine too, you know, yes. when him tell it, all the people boo him. So when there's a part of the Bible that says what happened to you when you lead little children astray, you know. And some big people have little children, man. And when the president, who they support, tells them that the pandemic is a hoax, and him say one thing and them follow him, but him do another thing because him want to live. And him know him nearly dead when him catch the COVID little while. Yes? Remember? Yes. He know him nearly dead. And him get a treatment where ordinary people can't get. Yes? So when him just a mix up people's head, I can't respect that, you know. No, sir. Anyway, Beanie, big up. You're vaccinated, you're going on your tour. Minister of Education, Mrs. Fayval Williams, is appealing to residents of Orchard and Clifton in Hanover to give their full support in the search for the missing University of the West Indies student, Charlene Evans. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, you mean to tell me that her partner, the father of her child, his relatives, her relatives, couldn't see the depression that was overtaking her? And from all the snippets of news, she gave many signals about her difficulty. And sometimes we are insensitive to those things. Maybe, you know, sometimes even when we figure it out, we say a prayer, but we don't understand that prayer has to be backed up by action. And you have to, you can't just blame the person and say them wicked or them a bad mind or them pull themselves out of it. Sometimes it's a real sickness I have, you know. Plenty of us, right? Plenty of us. And so we need to be very, very clear about helping people with mental imbalances. She's been missing from Christmas Day, and everybody been looking for her, but they can't find her. Yeah. All right. And one day we're going to, on the early rise or on Public Eye, wherever we have the opportunity, talk more about depression in Jamaica. Get those who can help us, Professor Abel, Dr. Delahaye, others, tell us about how to recognize depression in ourselves and in others, and not to shame about it. That's a big thing, you know. Not to shame about it, and not to make it escalate until it gets to a dangerous level, but rather to be able to share it, to share our symptoms, and to seek therapy. No use being ashamed of your situation. We want everybody mentally and physically healthy so that they can care for themselves and care for each other. Anyway, say a prayer for Charlene. More than 2 million hazardous used tires are to be removed from the Riverton City disposal site in St. Andrew under a 10-year project, which will eventually extend to other garbage disposal facilities across the island. That's good. Yeah? Can't we use all of the reject and finished tires, remote tires? Can we put them in the sea and make reef? Yeah? It's a very important thing. You know, many other countries do that. They take the tires and they anchor them down off the coastline, and it builds back the reef which is so important for fish to breed, for corals to regenerate. I don't know the science well enough, but I do know that that is possible. So I'm hoping that. And then I've heard of there being another use that it can be, the tires can be shredded and used as part of a mix for patching roads. Is that so? We're told that already 8,700 tires have been taken from the Riverton facility under the National Program for the Environmentally Sound Management of End-of-Life Pneumatic Tires. What a phrase. Which is in collaboration between the government and the, yes, I did remember this, the Caribbean Cement Company. Okay? It is aimed at safely disposing of the millions of used tires generated in the country annually, and also reduce the costs associated with storing them. When tires burn, is a terrible, terrible environmental hazard, particularly for the people in Western St. Andrew and wherever it takes place in those precincts. Yeah. But let's hey, if we insist upon using non-biodegradable materials like plastic, like pneumatic tires, right? And God, we love car in this country. So you're always going to have bands of tires, okay? So can we adopt this science to dispose of them usefully and to recycle them? That makes a big, big difference, Okay? Right, a last snippet of news before the break. On the early rise, the government is planning to spend $14 billion, BB, not M, B, billion dollars over the next 3 years to improve the island's network of police stations. That's good, yeah, but let me tell you, we need an equal amount to put in the police programs to help young people. If you put 2 shilling into police station renewal, put 2 or more into police youth clubs, and that is going to help you to reduce crime here and save lives. What is more important, the building or the life? Tell me. This is The Bridge, 99 FM. The program is The Early Rise, and we'll soon come back, Don't go anywhere. We need a revolution in our attitudes, need a revolution in our economic and political system, but most of us afraid of that word. No, we shouldn't be. Yes? Once we are, in fact, changing radically for the better, then, of course, that's very important. It doesn't have to be bloody. It shouldn't be, because that's disrespect for human life. Yes, what it is important is that we place the upliftment of humanity as the centerpiece of every piece of legislation that we pass, every piece of every aspect of relationship that we enter into, every dollar that we spend personally and nationally. That's what we defend, right? And that's quite possible. We do it to a significant extent. We have the philosophy, we have the theology that encourages us to live that way. It's only selfishness and a bad upbringing that leads us into different kind of behavior and reaction to oppression. Yeah, suppose we understood our crime and violence problem in that regard. Suppose we understood that the cynicism about our social and political relations had that background too. Then we would be willing to, indeed, as Dennis advises, undertake revolution. Revolution has to start in the heart, It has to end there too. But it has to touch every aspect of our lives. Coming up in the program today, listen, yesterday, you remember, on Early Rise, we had Dr. Roy Davidson, a Jamaican educator and philanthropist in California, recipient of the President of the United States Lifetime Achievement Award, And we didn't finish the discussion. Time ran out on us. And I particularly wanted to engage this resident of Little London in Westmoreland. Well, Westmoreland's a troubled parish, right now. A troubled parish. Yeah, we need to bring back Dr. Davidson this morning. I'm very glad he's consented to talk about his engagement with his parish and his analysis, really, of how we can regenerate that pristine beauty and that progressive element in Western Jamaica. And he's giving us a bit of brata. He's bringing his fellow honoree, Dr. Philip Bedward. I believe he's Jamaican too. What a thing. Yes, we're not easy, Yeah, we're big abroad. Can you imagine? And if I tell you the other Jamaicans in California will step up, yes, from Kamala Harris, right, to there's a Dr. Burke who is big up she's Surgeon General for the state. There is Attorney General. There are all of these people who have gone and who are making us proud and giving great service to that state and that country at a time when you hitch. Many people don't want that kind of work. They don't have that kind of spirit here and abroad. So, Dr. Davidson and Dr. Bedward later this morning with Pearnel Charles and myself. Yeah, so make certain now that you stay tuned to the bridge, reminding of the phone numbers. The WhatsApp and text line is 876-551-5782. And the studio line is 876-676-4996. Put it in your phone. What does the lady say on the television? That's something about floor. Well, your phone. Yeah. We use our language and inflect our speech in particular ways. All right. But no, there is a recent study. I want to just give you a prips of coming attraction, because a recent study, I've heard it reported, was done by personnel at the Northern Caribbean University, which looks at the levels of trust in government, and particularly in the areas of vaccine uptake. And actually, the limited exposure that I've had to its conclusions are worrying, because it seems to say that there are a whole heap of people in Jamaica, I don't think quite a majority, but close to that, who simply do not trust when government speaks. And as a result, they are easily dissuaded from doing what Beanie Man and others of us have done, both Pearnel and I, gone get vaccinated, get boost too. Yeah. And if they come with a fourth, me I go take it. Yes. So the just as precautions, because we owe that to ourselves and our families, not because we're old, yeah, but because we're human beings, live, and because we owe it to others too, yeah. And so here is a difficulty that we have, and it extends approximately to the issue of vaccine, but goes much wider than that in Jamaica, and that is the low levels of public trust. Yes. You can go if you are in government and you feel you're big, you can go on with that, and people will tell you ray, but they don't trust you, and that's so. This study is telling us what many of us already suspected, and which the outturn of the election showed us. Okay, people don't business with you. I mean, they may not stand up and fight you. They may not deride you publicly. Glad of that. But in terms of getting you to do something positive, to stop doing something negative, well, no, that's a big issue. Trust is the essential glue of every relationship, both personal and national. Yeah? If you have trust, then you can look forward to a progressive, a revolutionary, back to Dennis Brown, future. Yeah, both in terms of how we relate to our money business and also how we relate to our loving business too, Yeah, there's nothing that is no national virtue that is more needed, and that apparently is in shorter supply than trust. Trust, yes. If you look at children, if you don't teach them. And it's not by words only. In fact, not even by words. Principally, it's by action that trust. When you lift up a little one and you throw them in the air, the trust that they have is that you will catch them. Yeah? And that's critical for them to learn and to perform as they grow. Yes, and once you breach trust, it's very, very hard to establish it again, Once it's broken, it's 100 times more difficult than it is to create it in the first instance. And so I really want on this program and in our discourse to consider the issue of trust, and we're not going to philosophize about it too much, though Audley will take us there in the music, but more importantly, to look at instances of trust, of reliance that people have one towards the other, and to inculcate this and ensure that this becomes a feature. What about in our schools, eh? Yeah, building trust that somebody's going to be there to treat you fairly, trust that in the institutions of justice you're going to get fair play rather than something less than that. These are most important virtues. Yeah, so I'm not so interested in the isms and the schisms. I'm interested in how we can build the bridges. That's why we're here, eh? That's why we call it the bridge. This station have a big purpose, you know. Yeah, bigger and different from many others. Yeah, so don't want to come with a scandal bump and all of that here. Those are instances of breached trust or the absence of trust. What we want to do is build up the liberty and the lovity. Is that a word? Never mind, we just make it up this morning here. But it tells a story, doesn't it, of where we really are. That's significant. There's a lot of talk about this cabinet reshuffle in Jamaica. Well, you know, that is to be seen. That lies in the purview of one person, that's the Prime Minister. Let me ask you a question. Should that be? Is it essential? Is it best for us to follow that tradition, that one social man or woman is the one who decides who preside over the various agencies of government? Well, I know that any sensible Prime Minister is going to consult with others and not just act on his own mind. But at the same time, yes, I'm not sure that this is the best way we can think of doing it. And since comprehensive constitutional reform is on the cards, can we think of different ways now that we can have a cabinet chosen? Because sometimes the reasons, Pearnel will tell you, the reasons why this person get this job or that job or don't get it is more because of inside party business than the issue of capacity and competence. Yeah, Jamaica can't afford that anymore, you know. Really don't like that. Yeah, and that is that because they suspect, and many know that is so, then that means that the trust is weak. And when the trust is weak, well, we've already said, you have destruction. Yeah, they're connected. I've been following up, you know, this issue about the business we have with the bauxite. And I get a whole heap of calls and I get some thump. You know what name thump? When somebody thump you. They can either thump you physically or they can try to thump you mentally, you know. And about my statement that I believe the bauxite industry is coming to an end, should come to an end. Because I don't believe when you figure out how we're raping the ground, the earth, that we are earning anything that can make back that. In fact, I think we are selling out our future, our children's future, since most of us doing it now, we were dead by the time this really hits. It's like climate change, you know. You can't do that because the topsoil is what will produce the food, and we don't have any of that, or less of that now. But what I'm gathering from some very interesting conversations with ministers and with others is that there is a difficulty when you're dealing with these overseas companies, because they're the ones who have the investment money to put into the bauxite mining and refining and exporting. But look at what we now know, that this company named Mr. Noble by name but not by nature. Yes, they will even tell us how much they're selling for bauxite for. Yeah, and we put up with this and we can't hear nothing out of cabinet or government yet as to whether that is true. And it is true, you know. Yes, they are having worries. And so we are in the slipstream, Rachel Manley, in the slipstream title of her book, yeah, about of the bauxite accounts. And so I'm asking the question, yes, please, opposition, you would like to to put this for me, since you have the voice still, or we just put it out there. How much are we really earning from bauxite? And who is doing the equation, the cost-benefit analysis between what we are earning, which I believe is pretty little, right, and the future of our nation, the assets of our nation. I can hear the hackles and the thump down being prepared in parts of St. Anne and St. Elizabeth, who say, boy, I build my house out of bauxite. I get my start in business out of bauxite. I get my training in bauxite. Hello. We accept all of that, But 2 scholarships or 2,000 scholarships and police station or whatever it is you do, that can't make up for the damage that you're doing at the same time, The Bible says charity can never take the place of justice. And justice is right relations over the short and the long term between the parties to any transaction. And I'm really asking the public listening to the Bridge 99 here and abroad for us to consider whether we are getting a measurable, sustainable increase over out of the bauxite and alumina industry. And if we're not, then it's time to draw brakes, isn't it? Yeah? Let's discuss this. There's no doubt that we had benefits in the past, yes, but are we able to sustain those? Or have we come to what is correctly called a sunset industry? And if that's the case, what are going to be the alternatives? We're still importing $1 billion or so worth of food products every year. We're still importing billions and billions of dollars worth of oil and energy generating products. Why we don't start discuss how we're going to change that around? We who have or had fertile land all over the country. Yes, sugar kind of gone down now. If I say it dead, there's some duppies who are going to want to thump it down. But it's really close to that, Even the Chinese and their big money couldn't change that. So we have this fertile land, plenty of it irrigated, but it grew up in a bush. Yes? Now, if that is the case, what are we going to do? We have to make certain that we turn it around. That's a big revolution Dennis was chanting about earlier in the music. Yeah. And we have to make sure that people feel secure and can get access to the resources that they need in order to really produce the food that Steve McDonald in Toronto needs. By the way, he was a student of Roy Davidson, Yeah, isn't that an interesting fact? I love the spirit. The spirit must have communicated something in between the two of them that led them into their both very relevant professions. Separated though they are, nonetheless converging in their past and in their present commitment to their country. I love that. So Jamaicans, wherever they are, can still link up and make sure that things are better for themselves and also for us. That's great. Now, in these circumstances, what about if we really took land reform and modern agriculture as being those elements of diversification of our economy that the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clark speaks of as being so necessary? Yes? Can't fly on the one ring of tourism. And I'm so sorry to say it. I'm going to exaggerate only to make the point. But the wing of tourism broke. See it. The Omicron now, what is the news in the press this morning in Jamaica is that plenty of people cancelling out on the trip that they were going to make to this country. You can't blame them. You must accept it. Yes? The fact is that it's not safe as it used to be, or as safe as it used to be to travel, despite all of the heroic efforts and the plenty of lyrics that are coming from the tourist sector to encourage the return of visitors and the offerings and the expenses that we're going to make safety a feature here. The fact of the matter is that it is just think of human behavior and choices that are going to be made And it is likely that despite the urge to travel, to get away, to relax, to put COVID behind you, many people are not going to have the resources, or they're not going to have the willpower, or they're going to make their own sensible for them travel, these personal decisions that will postpone travel. So we vital as it is, yes, respectful of Ed and what he's doing, we cannot depend on tourism in the way that we have in the past. And therefore, what do we do? Not to scrape off more dirt from Jamaica and Gateway, where we don't even know whether we're earning shilling or pound. Yes? Not to descend into scamming and money laundering, but rather to go back to the land, to go to the land and use it in ways that are productive, ways that can multiply, ways that the world wants it. More than anything else, ways that we can use to feed our children rather than give them bag juice and cheese tricks from foreign. Feed them with good banana and porridge and yam, yes, and beans and protein. Look how gongo scarce this Christmas. Cha! And gongo good for you know. Yes, all beans and peas good for you. We can revolutionize our lives and our foreign exchange earnings and our, what do call it, net international reserves. The one where Richard Bynes love quite legitimately to tell us gone up, but the people not feeling it because as the net international reserves go up, the dollar go where? Down. You know, it's a bit of gallows humor this morning for me. But it's true. This is what people feel. And therefore, can we change around this country now? I love Audley's selection this morning. Revolution, Part 2, Dennis Brown. Coming close to the break on the early rise on the bridge, 99 FM. Soon come back. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning, Dr. Thwaites.
I'm looking like a doctor this morning.
You look like a doctor.
Hardly one quack as far as that is concerned. Listen, who are lead gone already? Who are stay? Hang on steady. We're talking about trust.
Yes.
Yeah, I raised it earlier in anticipation of your coming.
Yes, I am a little concerned.
Right.
Let's quickly go back to the Northern Caribbean
Study. And by the way, I would love to have the lead researcher or commentator on the program at some stage next week, maybe, if we can.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
I think that the question was whether or not you're going to take, why you have not taken
the
vaccination.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know how much of it was why.
Yeah.
Because I'd have been interested to hear why a man say I'm not taking it, whether it is at the bar, bar talk, at the home talk, at the market talk, or doctor. Boy, no nurse no take it what me take it for. Doctor not take it what me take it for. Some big man not take it what me take it for. But the majority of people who have taken it are the middle and lower, the working class.
Yeah.
So there are many people at the top. When you understand that a nurse is presiding over the health of somebody in the hospital that have the virus, and she say she not taking it, and there's
how can I have trust?
Well, but it goes beyond the nurse. There's also a doctor.
Oh my!
Now, how is a teacher going to teach the children?
Yeah.
Who we are saying must take it to save their life, and the teacher say she not take it.
Yeah.
What does she say to her class?
So then, what is the obligation of a person in authority using your designations? The teacher,
yes,
the doctor, the nurse,
leaders of companies, of management.
Sure, or a country.
Yes.
Yes. What is our obligation in terms of our personal prejudice, position, etc., in relation to those who must look to us for whether it is care or instruction or leadership?
Well, Ronnie, I'm going to use back to Mama and Dada again.
I love that.
Whenever you do anything that Mama considers bad, she say, wait till your papa come. In other words, she's not handling certain things.
Yeah.
I have said she can't beat you hot enough. if you do certain wrong, or shout you hard enough. And so people turn to the head of government and say, Mr. Onis, it's you why teacher have forced me to give me pitney this. You understand? They go to the head of the home.
Yeah.
Right?
No, anything wrong with that?
Well, no, because guess what? I have practiced that. When there's a problem with the children, Gloria would say, let's discuss it when daddy come. And she know that when daddy come, it's going to be resolved either positive or negative, or one way or the other.
Okay. So that is a cross.
I think that answers what I oppose you on in terms of everything. Remember yesterday morning I said to you, when it's a fourth government, the fourth estate, going to come out for the government and the police for crime. When the community and the gangs are really in the seat of the problem. Yet who is getting the lick? The police, the pure police, and the pure government. In fact, not even the opposition is getting it because they draw themselves out.
Well, if you can't take the heat, you must come out the kitchen.
Well, then
you look to work.
Well, here now, I like when you said that because you are better than many. you could be in the heat, but you come out of the kitchen.
Well,
right? There's something that pushed me out of the kitchen. It's kind of hard to run from the fire. So you walk out. But
but we're talking about relationships.
Yes.
And I'm genuinely troubled and anxious to share what other people in the media I don't see them dealing with is a question of public trust.
Yes.
And my view is that you could have, Sir Pearnel, you could have all the money in the world, yes, but if you don't have a disposition to trust others, if the basic texture of the society or your home, wherever your business, is one where you're always looking over your shoulder, you're always blaming somebody else, you're not in a spirit of conciliation and of mutual dealing with any problem, all the money you have can't make you happy and it can't help you.
Ronnie, I'm going to tell you one that takes me back maybe 7-something years of my life when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
My teacher was a very strong PNP.
Oh.
He was in charge of the PNP program.
And look what happened to you.
No, hold on. But listen to the greatness of this teacher.
I'm teasing you.
This teacher has never said to one of us, join PNP.
No.
In fact, when we were in garden on a Thursday, I will never forget. Those boys were mouthing me how the PNP win and the PNP. And teacher William said, don't go that way.
Yes.
Don't go that way.
Yes.
We have two parties, and I expect that we are going to have people in this school that have...
No, big up Teacher Williams and his
spirit. He was an exceptional person.
Yes, but then, wow. First of all, there are many things in that story. First of all, that in the garden on Thursday in primary school 70 years ago, you were talking about the issues of politics were alive.
Yes.
No, that would not happen now, sir. Very unlikely. And in a spirit where you were mouthing, and it was easy banter that he could correct or channel. Nowadays, it is...
It was a joke, not a fight.
Well, you put it. So therefore, we've lost that capacity for easy interchange on these matters. Therefore, on the trust, no. How do you build back trust? For me, I come from a religious tradition that is strong on symbols. Yes?
Yes.
And it would be more than symbol for me if Andrew Holness and Bruce Golding came and linked arms, and said, you know what it is? The two of us from our hearts are saying to the people of Jamaica, in order to better protect us all from the ravages of COVID, we're asking you to look at us. We have taken the vaccination, and we are urging you to do it. That
you
to
said
me,
Bruce Golding.
I'm sorry,
yes.
Mark Golding.
Mark Golding.
Yeah, Bruce could have in there too.
Yes.
Yes, but that's a symbol that I want to see.
Ronnie,
Instead of go ahead.
You are, in my opinion, you have said it for me.
Yeah, good.
Because unless the leaders of industry, leaders of the political parties, in fact, the leaders in the bar, unless, because there's always a bad man, a barman, who can't read, but him tell you everything in the gleaner.
But look at it. Beanie Man this morning is saying, look, I get my vaccine, Now, how much people are
so because Beanie Man take it.
Take word from it. Take word from it. Yes?
That's why I said to you the other morning, let me talk to some of the people who said them love me.
Yeah.
And let me remind them that on my left hand I have a scar, and I could not have gone to elementary school if I didn't present my vaccination paper and not do me.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to you, my brothers and sisters, fathers and grandparents, the doctors, the top doctors of the world, the top scientists of the world, has said they have prepared this for us to prevent us from this terrible virus that has killed millions.
Okay, so let us broaden it now. Because remember, we're getting Dr. Davidson and Dr. Bedward later on. Yes, but let us broaden this now. Because here we have, COVID is not our only scourge.
No.
We have the scourge of corruption, we have the scourge of crime, we have the scourge of underdevelopment, of inequality. Where we are in a position that we have to do certain things that are difficult, whether it is deal with the prescriptions of the IMF when we found ourselves in great difficulty, whether it is recovery from Hurricane Gilbert.
Or knowing what foreign investors are getting for what our thing, so what we should be getting out of it.
Lick shot, Pearnel. All of that now. When we have a congenital, chronic, contestatory situation, yes, it doesn't help us to overcome any of those problems. That is a system, from my little study of constitutional history, that was developed in England and suitable in England, yes, because they had a cultural understanding that was deeper and more fundamental than that, yes, which allowed them to build in instances of difference, whether religious or political, from Magna Carta come up, yes. But we cannot afford that. We can have differences of opinion, but not go to the point where we cannot cooperate with each other. So,
Ronnie,
so what we have...
You need to add that we should not, because we are doing it, and it's and go a little further.
Yeah.
It's also in the home.
Yeah. Well, this is it.
When you look back, it's also in the home.
Yes, of course.
It's in the family.
Yeah. So what is how does that improve life? How does that advance the truth that there is no my way and the rest of take the other way? There's no who are lead gone already and who are stay hang on steady. Yes, only way we're going to manage is if you hold away hang on steady. Yeah, the systems that we have are too contestatory, are too bereft of trust. Yes, and exist on the basis of limited trust for us to progress.
So that's some of the farmers who have just got up can understand you.
Yeah.
Because some don't understand trust.
All right. Them don't understand trust?
Yes.
Most of them some broke.
Tomorrow's
dinner.
They might mean you mean go back. They might
go shop.
They might mean you mean go to the shop, go take something.
Yes.
But what we're talking about, me not believe you.
Yes, all right, true.
Me not believe you.
But
and I can't make myself to believe, say, why you said true.
Yeah.
So it means, say, me not trust you.
Yeah.
It means, me not believe you.
Yeah.
And you can't make me believe you because me not see it.
Yeah.
Me not feel it.
Yeah.
No.
But let me touch a sensitive one now.
Yes.
Okay, because we do that easily between us and on this bridge. Yes. Look at what we've made religion do to us, Mr. Charles. Adventists and Catholics believe that Jesus is the Savior, the Son of God.
Yes.
And look how we dip on each other head. And look how we make all of the differences of things derivative of that, secondary to that, keep us apart till we cuss each other. Yes? When in fact, the rest of the world, particularly young people, yes, are saying, if uno, who say that Jesus is the Savior of the world, if uno are going like that, me no business with that.
Well,
what is the purpose of that, sir?
Well, there's another side, because I'm not sure whether Adventists and Catholics control the majority of people religiously worldwide.
Yeah.
So in other words, a man say, me no believe uno, me I set up my own.
Well, look at that.
And when them set up their own, what do they call it? Some call it Jesus.
Yeah.
Some call it prophet.
Yeah.
So it's not only the Adventists.
No, just because you and me.
Right?
But the folly and the futility
yes.
of that kind of approach, the short-sightedness, which is both the cause and the result of low trust. Yes, to me, is the main thing that is holding us back now.
Yes, I want to put it for the smaller man.
Yeah.
You can't make me believe you. Me have a problem with what you're saying.
True.
Me listen to you.
Yeah.
But me not believe you.
So first of all.
And what is it? Why you don't believe? Boy, I never know, but me not believe you.
Believe.
Something in me tell me say it's right.
Okay.
Something in me say
that
tell
will
it
always
true.
happen. That will always happen. That's why.
And Mr. Thwaites say so. Mr. Charles say so. So in other words, it goes back because I use the home because I am so proud of from where I'm coming, and I'm so proud of what I have given, and I've said to my children, try and be.
But that to me is a good thing about Jamaica's past, that from very limited circumstances you have that pride justifiably, and that the elements that have made up that progression from where you start to where you are now. Yes, with all of the dip and fall back that undoubtedly has been part of it.
Which my mother said building blocks.
Well, they are.
I don't understand why Mama would say, don't worry about them put you in prison. It's building blocks. When you come out, you get 4 more build up.
Yeah. Well, look at that now. What a remarkable sense of forbearance that
yes,
engage.
That's why.
But no, hold on. We on this program, we in this nation must take the elements that are progressive, that are constructive. Building blocks are always constructive. Yes, we must take these things and say these are the values that are normative in our society, and the exceptionalism. Oh, I can never allow you to agree with me because look how different we are. And my agreeing with you is going to mean that my position, I'm less famous or less prominent, or maybe I don't get the prime minister work or the minister job, yes, or the big ups, the forward, not get forward at dance hall. When you do something good at dance hall, you get forward. All right, but yes, you see, I know. We have to break down that spirit and build up a generosity of spirit. We remembered Archbishop Tutu yesterday morning. That spirit of Ubuntu. I am because you are, and recognize that is joy.
Yes.
That is engagement, and that's why.
But too many of us saying, "I am not because you are."
Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. And some with reason, but that can never take you forward.
And it take you back to what you said about the Adventists and the Catholics.
Yeah.
Because there came a group which said, me not in a them.
Yeah.
And we form our own.
Yeah.
And you know, whole heap of churches in Jamaica, whole heap of different names.
Well, whole heap of people.
Saying one thing, Jesus.
Yeah. And fighting over who is going to be in heaven. But I have mercy.
And the Adventists came up because we had the discussion. They said, the Lord is not going to decide on you coming to heaven because of what religion.
Yeah.
So make sure that there are standards that you are going to.
But one day we must really discuss this more. We have to break shortly for our guests. But I'm as much of an Adventist as you.
Who? Yeah.
Me.
Yes.
Because I look forward to the soon coming King just as much as you do.
Yes.
So what is it? Where we across each other for?
Well, probably
Madness.
that's why we get along.
This is early rise. Listen to me. This is discussion that is rich, you know. This gentleman here we have with you is never less. When we come back, Dr. Roy Davidson and Dr. Philip Bedward, Jamaicans in California. Yes, stretching across the distance, making little of that and relating to their country and also doing well and being recognized by the great United States government. We need to know of them and we need to recognize them here in Jamaica. We do that as we reach out across the distances of the diaspora on the early rise on the bridge, 99 FM. Soon come. 9 FM, this is the early rise with the Honorable Pearnel Child Sr. I'm Ronnie Thwaites, and we welcome again Dr. Roy Davidson in California. And this morning, Dr. Philip Bedward, equally honored in the United States and equally Jamaican she's in New York, eh? Yes, wonderful. Dr. Davidson, morning.
Good morning. I'm also going to introduce. It's a great opportunity to be in your company.
Thank you so much. Yeah, good, Dr. Bedward, are you there?
Yes.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Happy to bring
Dr. Rosemarie Lewis from Florida is also on the line.
Dr. Rosemarie Lewis, welcome too. My goodness.
Yes, and she's coming out of Florida, and that's my team.
We have a trifecta.
As well as Dr. Laxley Stevenson, straight from Little London, out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, he's not with us on the line this morning, though, is he?
Yes, Dr. Laxley Stevenson will be coming in a minute.
Okay, fine. Well, when they can accommodate them on this technology, that'll be fine. Welcome again, Dr. Davidson. What we didn't do yesterday morning and what we're glad for your company this morning to tell us more of is your engagement with the community that you come from Westmoreland, from Little London. We just played the Heptones, I Shall Be Released, yeah? But Westmoreland is in a very, very tenuous and difficult situation now, you know, Pearnel.
Yes. And surrounding parishes,
but Westmoreland is a cause of great concern. It needs the social regeneration, the upliftment that I think you're all about. Dr. Davidson, Dr. Bedward, tell us what you are able to do from your corner.
Let me start the conversation. Actually, I am on the board of directors of Manning's High School.
Really?
And have been on it for 2 years.
Excellent. That's a good example.
In terms of what we have done, the main thing that our focus right now is that we have built the Victor Law Learning and Technology Center at Manning's High School.
Right.
Raising up funds within the year, and the building is almost completed.
Yes.
And Victor Law is again on the board of directors of Manning's High School, and he's out of Florida.
He's a benefactor of the school.
He gave, he's one of our main donors as a past student. And then now, we are upgrading the main building that was established in 1738. It was in disrepair, and we raised all the funds necessary.
It's a beautiful building. You should never compromise that.
So we have all the funds, and the building is now being upgraded.
Yes.
In addition to that, as you know, Manning's qualified for the semi-final in the Diaspora Cup.
But you're too bossy. Go ahead.
So those are three major
elements, yes.
Apart from having some top matriculants at the University of the West Indies.
Very good.
Well, I'm building that sort of bridge and relationship between Manning's High School and Little London High School.
Good. Needed.
So I am the chairman of the Past Student Association of Little London High School as a founding member.
Right.
And one of the big projects, and Philip is on, Dr. Rosemarie is on it as well, is that we are now, we broke ground in 2019 to do a state-of-the-art community center for Little London.
Yes.
And so we will be completing a community, and the existing center that's there, it needs some refurbishing, so we're going to refurbish that within 6 months in the new year.
Excellent. Well, this
with a view now to expand to make it be a model center for Jamaica.
Wow.
So that existing center that's there is a very small center, and it's the physical education and health department center and the games field where the community can use it.
Good.
And so yes, it's in operation, but it needs some repairs, and we're going to get that done within 90 days to 6 months.
Excellent. Dr. Bedward.
To celebrate Jamaica's 60th anniversary.
Wonderful. You own, I think, Caribbean Marketing Solutions. You've also received a U.S. President's Lifetime Achievement Award. Dr. Bedward, why are you in this thing? Why are you doing what you're doing, please?
Well, one of the first things I understand that you have to understand yourself in order to know that you have to how to relate to yourself, to your God, and to your fellow men.
Pause right there. Make Pearnel Charles take that in. You have to understand yourself to be able to guide your relationships. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, with your God and with your fellow men.
With your God and with your fellow men.
And you have to have a standard.
Yes.
And that standard is what people are going to be attracted to.
Go ahead, Dr. Bedward.
Yes, so your value systems then will be developed from there, and from that you know how to give back to your people.
Yeah.
So if I were to add to continue where Dr. Davidson left off.
Yeah.
So I am from St. Elizabeth originally, Balaclava in particular.
Okay.
I went to St. Elizabeth Technical High School, which I'm a very active participant.
Right.
in the mass student movement here in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But I must hasten to tell you that also, Mr. Thwaites, that on your tenure as Minister of Education, I was the person who brought the e-learning solution there. I was the person who you told you dropped the ball.
Whoa.
Right, because from a national level, I brought solution. In fact, I was the one who introduced the mobile lab cart concept to Jamaica.
Very good. Wow. Now I'm connecting. Yes. Wow. Now this is the kind of relationship that we need. You know, it transcends parish, it transcends school, and it has one objective, which is to uplift the people who need this kind of help in order to be able to achieve that.
This sort of excitement, I want to just show something which is not going to be a problem. You men who have done and who are doing so well abroad, what about your students, colleagues in Jamaica? Are we able to set them afire that like you are, that they can do some, we would say, groundation at home?
Let me put that question to Dr. Rosemarie. Is she hearing us? Dr. Rosemarie, are you hearing us? Perhaps not. But so to you, Dr. Davidson and Dr. Bedward, how isn't it true that when you go abroad to live, to work, to advance, you suddenly some of the distinctions and differences don't mean very much anymore, and in fact you come together more easily for a common cause? Mm-hmm. Stetson and Manning and Little London can combine.
Right.
Yes. So I am worried about whether or not the combination that you men are able to put together abroad
can be infectious.
You can no. I want to transfer some because the major part of the graduates with these men are in Jamaica, and we don't hear them.
What has been your experience with the Little London alumni, Dr. Roy?
Oh well, it was a challenge, because one of the things that came up, was the guys are saying that some of them are saying that we cannot be in the U.S. and lead anything.
Oh.
And so those are some of the negative that came up within the system, that you cannot steer in certain parts of the world and run things. And with the whole business of technology, the opportunity presents itself where we can help our country and provide the training and the leadership that we have
and transfer
to work with a team. So when we started out, we tried to put an international team together with representation in the US, Canada, the UK, and then we had a team in Jamaica with boots on the ground, and our goal was to raise the necessary funding to be able to help build out the infrastructure.
Well, there are two things. First of all,
and the negativism stepped in.
Okay.
And so that is a concern, in that there's a big distinction between
Who they are, yeah, and who abroad.
And the ones in Jamaica, some of them see us as foreigners.
Yeah. See you as foreigners. What a short-sightedness. Yes?
That is it.
What a short-sighted. But, I want to extend the discussion because I want to hear all that you have to tell me about the aid to your schools. But underlying all of this is the foundation of relationship between Jamaicans in the diaspora and us at home. Pearnel Charles was asking me the question earlier. If we looked at the sheer numbers of Jamaicans who still associate with their country, first generation, second generation, it's probably more than actually live on the island, sir?
So most definitely. Philip can give you that statistics. He's our statistician.
Dr. Bedward?
So I will bring in Dr. Rosemarie Lewis.
Is she
out of Florida?
I haven't been able to get her to hear her voice. But
yes.
But
Dr. Rosemarie, can you hear us?
Answer that question for us, because we need to take it to literacy, development, training that you guys are privileged to have or make use of, whereas we who are here either don't want to make use of it, get it and don't handle it, and find it a problem.
Dr. Bedward, how it stay? How the numbers
So then, all right. So then I'll say, my being in data, I follow the information. Between 2010 and 2019, about 300,000 professionals left Jamaica for Canada, United States.
300,000 left Jamaica professionals.
Right.
Excuse me.
That developed a bridging system. So one of the things that using technology is to set up a bridge to have what I call digital knowledge repatriation.
Knowledge repatriation. All right.
Repatriation. Right. Where we can stay here as professionals and engage in tutoring and mentoring of our students back home in Jamaica. So one of the things that I did with my alma mater is to introduce that situation in maths and science, which have me realized because of COVID. But that is something we would have loved to bridge the gap in terms of the.
But that is most creative, Pearnel. That's excellent. Listen, soon as COVID done, well, January coming, everybody back in school, I hope. That has to start up, that's great. So what you would do is stay in New York, Dr. Davidson stay in Canada, Dr. Rosemarie stay in Florida, and be able to offer coaching, which probably would not be available or affordable in St. Elizabeth Technical or in Manning's or Little London, huh?
Right. Let me bring in Dr. Rosemarie. You're unmute, Dr. Rosemarie.
Dr. Rosemarie, are you there?
We'd love to hear your voice.
Hi, good morning. Welcome. welcome home.
In nursing.
Yes.
And so the lone lady's on.
Tell me where you come from, Dr. Rosemarie Lewis.
I am from cool Manchester.
Listen.
11 miles on the outskirts of Mandeville.
Yeah, what district?
A little district called Malton Robbins Hall.
Never even hear about that, Pearnel.
Robin Hall?
Malton Robinson?
Robbins Hall.
Robbins Hall, man.
Yes.
That's one of my stumping grounds.
So tell us your journey, Dr. Rosemarie. Where you went to school and where you find yourself now, and how are you going to give back?
Yeah, I went to Homewood Technical High School, actually.
Yes, good.
And I am heavily involved in the community work here and at home. So I am the president for the Jamaica Diaspora Southern USA, responsible for the 13 southern states.
Wow.
And that's under the leadership of Dr. Alan Cunningham,
yes,
which is a national rep for those same 13 states. So I also adopt a clinic in my hometown, Robbins Hall, Manchester.
Excellent.
And I take a medical mission to Jamaica every year, except for the past 2 years.
Obviously.
That we have been clobbered by COVID. But we intend that as soon as it is safe, we are going back there. And Mr. Tufton is a part of our journey.
Very good. Yes, he would be. So your profession is nursing?
Yes, I have a doctoral degree in nursing, and my post-bac is in mental health.
I see. Lord, we need you.
I'm
we need you back.
I'm a professor of pathophysiology.
Tell me what kind of physiology, please, ma'am?
pathophysiology. That's the disease process. Yes.
Wow. Yes. No, this is fancy this kind of talent coming out of Robbins Hall.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
but not doctor, I was just going to say to Robin, she's nearly like me.
Yes. You're two mugs up. but
from whence I came.
Yes, well, no, but you if you ever have a Bosie St. Anne man talking to one from Manchester, one from St. Elizabeth, and one from Westmoreland this morning.
Can you imagine? And I boast, doctor, because of the privilege to have gone to West Indian Training College, now NCU, and Manchester can boast of producing me by giving me an education.
Okay. And who was your principal at Homewood, Dr. Lewis?
Mr. Hamilton.
Ronald Hamilton, yes.
Okay.
A clergy brother of mine. And who was your principal at Stets, Dr. Bedward?
The great Bugs John Pottinger.
John Pottinger could have told you that. And you, Dr. Davidson, at when you went to Little London and Manning.
Dr. Herbert Nita.
Look at that.
I went and worked under his tutelage.
Under his tutelage, you went back and taught, as you told us yesterday.
One of the things that I wanted to share with the team is that in the book, Not Just a Catalyst for Change, and I'm going to try to make it
please show it to us.
available to every one of you.
Yes, Not Just a Catalyst for Change. Yes.
This is my work. It came through. My writer was Miss Mushet.
Yes. Give us the subtitle of it too, Doctor. You have it there. The bridge.
Not Just a Catalyst for Change.
Yes. Okay. Got you.
Okay. And in chapter 6. Carol Mushet Kirk was very good in terms of sharing the information with us, and unfortunately, God bless her soul, she passed away right after she wrote the book. And I'm going to share with you just a short briefing on one of her chapters. She said, Jamaican Americans have been part of the socio-economic political life of the United States from its early beginnings over 340 years ago. In fact, Americans of Jamaican heritage own the unique distinction of having participated in all major U.S. conflicts related to national and international security interests, beginning with the following American Revolution War, or the American War of Independence, 1775 to 1783, American Civil War, 1861-1865, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnamese War.
Yeah. So
what we're saying that Jamaican Americans have played a significant part in the development of the United States for over 340 years.
Wow. That should make us we're large, That's great, Dr. Bedward.
And did you know that the first Jamaican American, Dr. Mr. Dallas.
Yes, Dallas, Texas.
Was the first vice president of the was the vice president of the United States, the 7th vice president of the United States.
Look at that.
And no, Kamala Harris is.
Kamala Harris
is another vice president.
Yeah.
Well, in addition,
so what we're saying is, if we can help to build the greatest country on earth, why can't we help to build our own island?
Indeed, Dr. Bedward.
Yes, sir. So in addition to where Dr. Davidson is, now we have Vice President Kamala Harris, but we also have 3 other prominent people in the cabinet.
Right?
Yeah.
You have Susan Rice, you have Katrina Clark, and you have Renee Boyne as the economic advisor to the president.
I tell you.
Right. So, and having all that in the United States alone, and among other state representatives that are really representing us in a way that is commendable.
Yes,
we show that the talents that we have brought to these shores have been recognized by the jurisdiction, and they are using it to grow the economies.
Yes,
and I think that from that we can actually look to say if Jamaica has such a pool of intellectual ability and capacity, resources, it can be repatriated in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Not only through the remittances, which has been the backbone.
So you mean it's keeping us? That is what's keeping us alive, no, sir?
Well, yes, and we have been generous. Last year we have a 42% increase.
Yeah.
This year, according to World Bank again, we have a 23.6% increase, which move the money from 3.5 billion to 4.36
Look
billion.
here, if we didn't have the remittances from people like your good selves and your community, with the decline of the tourist trade, yes, and the bauxite industry, the dollar would be much lower than it is now, and hardship would be greater in Jamaica. Let us face that, and we're not just buttering you up. We are facing the reality of our economic system, and we have to recognize that. Pearnel and I done with the political divide, you know, so that's why we do this program. And our purpose and the purpose of the bridge is to ensure that we unlock that talent and stop some of the ism and the schism that Dr. Davidson was telling us about, where people think of you guys as foreigners instead of true-blooded Jamaicans.
Exactly.
Well, let me just add one other point. This morning, I'm looking at whoever it is that it must have been a vision. I'm not calling it dream.
Yes.
That we establish the bridge.
Yes.
Because look at what we have on the screen.
Yeah, and we're going to keep
look
it going.
at the steps of these three major Jamaicans I have never heard about.
Yeah.
I've never heard about what they were doing for Jamaica.
Yeah.
And the bridge has brought them together.
You
can sing crossed over the bridge.
that's too old for Audley to find. Never mind. I have two questions for you.
That's us holding our head. She know the song.
Dr. Rosemarie, we have a tremendous opportunity, do we, to train nurses, not only to build out the health system and places like Robbins Hall, but also to ensure that we are providing service to the United States, the diaspora, Canada, and providing employment for people. Do you have ideas? How could we do that? How can we advance the nursing profession? President Obama once told me that Jamaican nurses were the very best that he had ever encountered.
Yes, yes. Science is everywhere. Science here is science there. So it's a matter of getting the foundation to be, to be taught. And so we could utilize hybrid. We could utilize what we're doing now, virtual. And so we give the expertise that we have learned here in the United States. And so we can take it to them through these mediums.
Okay.
And in services, we can show them another way that we have learned to do things, and it has become very successful. So it's a matter of introducing new information.
Yeah. Are you open for that? Can that be part of the interaction that we have? And can it happen without people feeling, well, where you come from? Don't we always do it this way?
You're foreigners trying to influence.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah, but let me just add, with this new technology,
Yes.
You can stay right where you are,
yeah.
and set up a situation.
And
educate
a whole
parents.
profession. Yes, sure.
Yes.
As to preparing their children to be what you need them to be, so that they can be what you are where you are.
Dr. Bedward, I want to follow up on that with you, because this digital knowledge repatriation that you spoke of, can that take legs in the hopefully the post-COVID period of 2022?
Yes, but even before that, if things work well, we can look at telemedicine as part of what as an offering, because with the mental health situation that you have in Jamaica, I was reading in the Gleaner where the 27-year-old university student was disappeared, and it's
depression
said to be because of So we can actually do telemedicine and help to counsel some of these troubled
Look at that, because
people.
we're short of those.
Right.
And you mentioned science and math earlier. I mean, we have a huge deficit in the education system with science and math educators, you know. And it's not saying because you go, you know everything, but we need the partnership between that technology allows and that your history provides in order to be able to rapidly advance that ubiquitous science tradition that Dr. Rosemarie just mentioned.
Definitely.
May I just add quickly so you can put them together? If I were in St. Elizabeth or Manchester and hear that Dr. Rosemarie is going to make a presentation on nursing this evening, I would gather in a hall to look at the technological presentation from her that inspire me in the country to want to go where she there.
Yes.
And all of you men, this digital technology and COVID has opened this stage for presentation from all over the world that can inspire people way in the hills where they don't have no shoes, but they have a head and they have an ambition that just need something to push it forward.
Not to mention the inner city. Lady and gentlemen, before you go, how can we in Jamaica make the generosity of spirit and the capacity to help that you are offering, how can we enhance it? What obstacles are you facing? What kind of changes do we need to make here so that we can really better build this community between ourselves and yourselves? Dr. Davidson, you have a thought?
Yes, I think it's important that we work with our government. I'm pleased to say that when Minister Son was the junior minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I hosted him in Los Angeles. You know.
Great. Good.
Yes, and so yes, we have to definitely work with our government.
Yes.
On our sides, we cannot isolate our government. So it's of critical importance that we do that, and we have been doing that, and that's why I recommended to the diaspora groups to have advisors working with them that can make that collaboration between government and groups.
Yeah. Well,
and what we have done, our national team. You're looking at including Dr. Laxley Stevenson, who was online a little earlier, didn't get a chance.
Missed you, yes.
Chip in.
We will
because
make sure.
If we don't organize ourselves, we cannot help the country. So we have to organize and work closely with our government and leadership.
Well, what is impressive is that you are, in fact, in different parts of the United States, and yet you're coming together, which is a harbinger for what can be. And I just want to say, this station and this program, we are open to you at all times, so that you can, in fact, speak to the people of Jamaica, speak to the other people in the diaspora who are linking in, because that is a collective voice that the Jamaican media, the governments of present and past have not in fact used. We need to regard, respect, contest your voices in a new way, don't you think, for the new year?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
May I say something?
Sure.
One of the characteristics that I have seen throughout Jamaica when I visit there in the nursing fraternity is that the nurses there could be a little softer to the patient. And I do understand that their situations are overwhelming in that the nurse to ratio per patient might be top heavy, and so they get frustrated. So that is another area that we could look on to have some in services to say that even though we are in a situation that might not be the best at the time, our patients are number one focus. And let us change our thought process as to how we react to them, regardless of the situation. And that is customer service.
Big point.
That is something that I am willing, very willing to train and to have in services and to just allow the nurses to see another way, try another way. And I'm ready to do that.
Thank you so much.
I am happy to hear that.
We're not going to let
and
her
I'm
go.
encouraging all of you to let us use the bridge.
Yes.
Even more than the bridge, the idea of the bridge, to talk to Jamaica, to inspire them. And they are ready to be inspired. One, you can do it if you are prepared here to go abroad, where you can exercise what you have gotten from here and send back to here. And Jamaica is going to be the better place.
Definitely.
Yes, excellent. You see this man, Pearnel, Charles, Dr. Davidson, Dr. Sutherland, Dr. Lewis, and Dr. Bedward, them things I'm done, but him just a come. Happy to have you all.
Admiral Bailey.
Yeah, you see that now? You can't take it out of your blood.
I was looking at you to see that your hair look like mine.
Listen, this sweet boy. Thank you so much for your company this morning. We're going to do. Please consider this chapter 1, and we hope to be in touch with you.
And Ronnie, don't leave out your British man.
No,
boys, we need to. Can you imagine we had that bright
connecting
young man?
you. We've been connecting with.
We want to do the connection. The
diaspora
bridge,
leaders in
the
Canada.
Bridge stretches right across.
And Steve McDonald is listening to us. Dr. Davidson. Yes.
And I cannot leave out Miss Wigan.
No.
Because she was the one that made this happen.
Well, look at
for
that.
us to be in the presence of the Honorable Charles and Mr.
The Honorable Charles.
You are Jamaican icons.
She's blushing right now.
We really appreciate the work that both of you and also Miss Wigan is doing.
Thanks very much. We'll keep it going. Much obliged to you.
We're in the presence of greatness.
Jamaica land we love. Dr. Roy Davidson in California, Dr. Philip Bedward in New York, and Dr. Rosemarie Lewis in Florida. The Diaspora Powerhouse. In that is so. What
are we going to do for the creators of Bridge?
Hello, so this is a heroic broadcast this morning. This is of the order of what we did the other day with PJ Patterson and Bruce Golding. Yes. When we are able to form and lay what your mother said, the building blocks of a new institution of cooperation between the diaspora and Jamaica. Right. Yes, that is of great importance. Thanks to all of you on the bridge who have made this possible. Lafayne, Wigan, Richie, Romy, Audley, everybody. And thanks so much for your company on Early Rise. Pearnel and I, Life Spare, God willing, will join you next Monday morning.
Next Monday morning? I think it's tomorrow.
Well,
Johnny, it is wonderful.
Yes,
I think
so.
that we need to say thanks to the creators.
Yes.
Because this is the way.
Sure.
Many will follow.
Yes.
You cannot invite them to cross over the bridge. Cross over to the bridge.
Richie B follows. He'll take the first steps. All the best. Till next time.